And if anyone wants to join the stage, I see Jamie Eshi have the hands up. I'm inviting Jamie. We've sent an invite. All you got to do is accept it, Jamie, and you'll be joined on the stage. Yeah, brilliant.
How you doing?
Here he is.
Yeah, let's get this party started.
That sounds good. So as Jamie says, let's get this party started. So there you go, Jamie. Jamie, you have to unmute it. Please introduce yourself, what you do, and I guess like you basically you're a VIP guest here on a show today. So tell us a little bit about yourself, but you have to unmute it. Go on, Jamie.
There you go. I mean, I've got the music coming.
There you go.
Boom, Bob. Let's boom, hello, how are you? Let's go. How you doing, mate? You alright?
All good, we're all good.
Yeah, no, so my name is Jamie Wood. I have a startup, I'm a CBD company. Well, not really CBD, I like to call myself more like a cannabis company. Startup here in the UK, which poses all sorts of trials and tribulations and difficulties, and trying to achieve simple things like a bank account can be rather difficult, but it's been great. I enjoy passionately what I do with a passion. I love the cannabis plant. I unfortunately can't smoke it anymore, but the science, the extraction methods, the terpenes. I mean, CBD is just such a minor part of the plant compared to what other amazing compounds and amazing different cannabinoids and terpenoids and flavonoids. So it's a passion of mine that I've managed to turn into a business, and it's doing well. I'm lots of engagement with customers and trying to help and advise with people's different ailments. You know, not being a doctor, but certainly being educated in the biology of cannabis helps massively. I only prescribe or advise people based on the experiences I've had in the past working in America and the UK. So it's been an amazing journey, and the acceptance is getting better every year. You know, it's tough financially, it's tough with bank accounts. I've had 3 or 4 bank accounts shut down with Revolt and various other people because of the CBD thing. There's a stigmata attached to it still, obviously, but it's certainly getting better. The miracle of the amazing amount of people's lives I've made happy from helping them out has been phenomenal, and it gives me more drive and passion to
more drive and sense of fulfillment, you know.
Yeah, I didn't expect that when I started the business. I expected it to be more about business and money and everything else, but the gratification you get from these late night emails from people that you've helped, even just with the terpenes, with the CBD, has been phenomenal. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey for the last couple of years. Not just for the money, for the satisfaction that I get from helping people, which I never thought I'd have before. So, yeah.
Amazing, great journey. And the good thing about it is that you turn your passion into profits. And not only that, you're also getting a sense of fulfillment, and you're getting amazing feedback from people that you've been helping on every day. I'm sure that actually alone itself would motivate you enough to get up in the morning and to get to work ready. You know, now the question I have for you, Jamie, obviously I was looking forward to see you tonight. How did you come up with an idea? And look, this is something you wanted to do.
No, I think it was there was a few reasons really. There was one, it's something, a passion I've always had. I've always been a cannabis user for various medical reasons, really, for anxiety, for I don't know, even social acceptance, everything really, for the turn off. I've never been a drinker. I haven't taken, no drugs. It's that sort of, I worked hard. I was in the city. I worked every day. I came home. I needed something to turn off. So the cannabis was always very much part of my life. And then I got ill from also smoked too many cigarettes. So I had a wee blockage and had a heart attack at 42. Not so, I didn't feel nothing. It was just, it just happened. And that was, certainly a tough time. I lost all my businesses. I lost all the things I was doing at the time. I had to sit there and watch everything sort of crumble in front of me, still paying the price. And, it was, the doctor said I couldn't smoke anymore. And it became apparent after 6 or 7 months that not having the cannabis affected me mentally, and I got depressed and things like that. And I stumbled across, the doctor said I could vape. So I started looking into vaping. I went to America. I worked in America. I studied. I worked with Incredible Edibles. It's all legal in America, so it was very much business as usual with cannabis in America. So it felt the norm. I was there for a while. I discovered ways to extract and different methods of extraction in the plant. I come back home and I applied that to CBD. And I guess the thought of, the having a brand with a cannabis leaf and fulfilling my dream. I think one day what it was, I was at Hill Dickinson. I was at a lawyer's and I'm sitting there and there's 7 lawyers. There's another company I was trying to do a deal with, and we're all sitting there in this office, and I'm looking out the window, and all the lawyers are talking about cannabis. And I turned to everyone, I just need to stop and take this moment in. This is serious stuff. We're talking, I'm in the top legal office in London, and I'm talking about cannabis to 6 lawyers. That I could never say that before. And it really opened my eyes to the fact that this is real business now, and there's a lot of money to be made, and there's a lot of serious people involved. So it was enlightening, to say the least, and I definitely felt my new niche in life. I had burger restaurants before, I had art galleries in town, but I was always, surfing on someone else's glory. There was no passion. It was always, I employed people with passion to make money, and I thought money was my passion, but it's not. And it's a necessary evil, but it's not very passion. And to have something like cannabis and things to be passionate about was a wonderful opportunity, and that I had to take. So yeah, it was all good. Sorry if I keep talking.
No, not at all.
I could talk about weed all night.
Absolutely, and that actually shows, because your brand Woodies, which is actually tremendous growth in it as well. And you know what, we could actually hear the passion, and we've got some obviously entrepreneurs here. We've got Dan here, which is our usual listener as well. He's starting up his new business as well, so it would be really good source of motivation you are for these people. Now the question I have, what was the key thing that turned your brand into such a successful brand like Woodies, as a very well-known brand when it comes to CBD? What was the turning point, or what was the secret sauce behind it?
I suppose it's been an adventure and trial. It's always trial and error. I think with any new startup, you have to explore different avenues and hope to catch the wave. I think at the start, it was very much, yoga and health. And, that's why I went back to school, and I needed my weakness was cannabis, with it, how it affects the human body and how the human body reacts to different cannabinoids and terpenoids. And that was very important for me to learn. So I went back to college and I did a course in CBD and its cannabinoids and the endocannabinoid system. So I studied that for a while, and then I used that in the business. And I think, it was very much coming from a health point at the beginning. And then I went more into terpenes and the sort of the essential oil of the cannabis plant. That is quite rare. People don't talk about it much. It's actually more of an antagonist than CBD, and that took me into the placebos and anxiety and changing. Anxiety is a massive problem for many people, but it's a state of mind, and if you can change that state of mind by using certain things, whether it's something sour or the flavour of cannabis or something that triggers off memories from a child, whatever that can distract you from the current anxiety, fixes it. So anxiety was a big thing for me, helping people with anxiety, helping people that my product, it tastes like weed, it smells like weed, but you don't get high. So you can use it in cooking. So lots of people don't want to get high, and you can use it in cooking. Being high now is strong, and it can be a scary effect. And you wouldn't want to eat cannabis. I certainly don't, and I'm a user for a long time, and I'm scared of eating it. But the flavor, people cook with CBD, but really the CBD has no taste. And if CBD is a vitamin, really, you've got to look at CBD as a vitamin. If you don't take it every day, it doesn't work. So with terpenes, it actually has flavor, and when you cook with them, there's cooking. It's amazing that you can have scents. It's the essential. It's just like lavender or eucalyptus. It's the essential oil of the cannabis plant, and that's what really changed. It took my business into having that unique USP. Took my business in a different direction, which then it resulted in an increase in income and sales, and which is all good. So you've got that. That was that moment. I think there's so much. I feel dwarfed. There's so many companies in CBD with a lot of money. It's very difficult for me to compete with that. So you have to know your lane and try and develop your own lane with your own tarmac. So I certainly attempted that and managed to hit upon a niche which I'm building upon with content, social content, and support from the cannabis community, which also was a big thing. I found myself embedded in a community that was pro cannabis, that are tight, and they're your peers. It's like being voted the player of the year. You're with your peers. Your peers give you a vote of confidence, and then you pursue things accordingly. The cannabis industry is booming massively. I invested a while back into a company called Product Earth, which was an expo, a wonderful expo where new startup cannabis companies come and display their products and show what their skill set is. And I invested in that, only small, but I invested it because I see these young kids now, smart kids in the cannabis industry, changing the game. And I wanted to be there with my finger on the pulse. So I invested, and as a result of that investment, I've got more and more embedded into a community of cannabis users, whether it's medical or thing, or respect for the plant, respect for what I'm doing. It's a joyous occasion. It's been a purple patch in my business career, which is laden with surprises and enjoyment. So, the money's almost secondary. The money helps with everything. Money solves every problem and everything else, and it allows you to market and be amazing. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, and certainly the terpenes have taken me in a new direction.
Well, me and Richard have both been down to Jamie's lab as well, so we've seen him in action. But it can't be underestimated the focus on brand and content. I mean, Jamie's probably the one that inspired us on content, baby. Was I think what he said. The way he's spent time and how focused he is. It's the brand that's been built is really quite impressive.
Amazing. Oh, Dan, have you got anything to ask? Because we've got Jamie here, Jamie Wood from Woodies.
Come on, Dan, where are you, bruv? Man, I ain't seen you. Come on, Dan. Where are you? Who are you?
I was just lost in what you were saying. It's very refreshing to hear someone talk from, because I've known about CBD for a while, and sort of what's your brand called?
Woodies.
How's that spelled, sorry?
WOODIES, man. You've got to check it out on Instagram.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Yeah, very interesting to hear.
Thank you.
Brilliant. So now we've got Miraj as well. Miraj is another entrepreneur. We also work together with Cubed as well. So Miraj, have you got any questions now that we have got Jamie? We don't know when will you have time for us again?
Yeah. How you doing, Jamie? You all right, mate?
How you doing, brother, man? Wicked.
I'm good, mate. I'm good. So, yeah, one question I had, because CBD, like you said, is quite a competitive industry. What do you guys do to stand out? Like, well, because you must have felt it as soon as you started up that there's quite a few new companies emerging all the time.
Yeah, of course.
How do you guys stand out or try and provide a USP to overcome that?
Yeah, well, it's, I'm into the terpenes. The terpenes for me are my USP because no one else can get them. And basically, terpenes are the essential oil from the cannabis plant. So just like you'd extract lavender or eucalyptus or any tea tree, you basically take the plant, vast amounts of it as well. We're not talking like, this is why it's such a rare commodity, because you need to do it outside grow. You need to have the technology to do it. You would harvest fields. 1 acre of cannabis produces 20 litres of terpenes, the essential oil from the plant, and that essential oil from the plant flavours everything. So for me, it's about flavouring vape. My thing was always with cannabis, I wasn't allowed to smoke it anymore. So the doctor said I could vape, but then when I started vaping, the taste of the cannabis, the flavours people were using in America and everything were fake. They take the cannabis plant, they take it to the lab, they analyze the terpene profile of the plant. They have isolated terpenes which come from other forms of vegetation and tree bark and pepper and stuff like that. Terpenes are in everything that we eat and drink. They put them together to try and make the scent and flavour of the cannabis plant, but it doesn't work. So, me being, a heart attack victim who couldn't smoke cannabis anymore, was on a mission to find a substitute because I was depressed and it was not good at the time for me. So I needed a substitute. I wanted my vape to taste like weed, whether it was the psychoactive effect or not. I wanted it to taste like cannabis. So I finally found a farm in America that extracted terpenes, essential oils from the cannabis plant at a small level. And I done a deal with them, and I ended up buying the rights for Europe, and in the hope that when THC becomes legal, and with CBD now, but when THC becomes legal, if you want your vape pen to taste of cannabis, you've got to come to me, because you have to, the process of extraction into distillate to turn it into THC for you to be able to vape it, or CBD, you destroy the terpene profile, so then you destroy the flavour, it's flavourless. So you need flavour added back in. And where some people like strawberry and cherry, which I sell as well on the website, most people like, lots of people like cannabis. And also I see it as and a lot of my clients see it as diet weed. So just like we have diet beer and diet alcohol or whatever, I've got diet weed. So
that's interesting. Actually, a couple of things there actually, Jamie. The first one is, are you guys selling purely online? And secondly, are you selling only in the UK, or are you shipping internationally as well?
Yeah, no, online. I do a little bit internationally. I get some clients, but mainly my strategy is online until I'm looking at the moment. I'm just going for a raise because I see the need for, especially with basically what happened is British American Tobacco came to me about 6 months ago and started and made a massive order and started doing research on CBD vapes. And then I started liaising with them, and then they gave me 800 quid to answer a few questions about CBD and CBD vaping. Mm-hmm. So it's clear that they're looking at CBD as an alternative to nicotine vaping. You'll see now at the moment there's a big craze. It's gone off with Gig Bar and a couple of the other big vape brands. They're selling a lot of disposable vapes in the sort of party scene and for young people. My son being one of them, loves them. But they're full of nicotine, like unbelievable. It must be heaven for these retailers these companies that are just selling sort of nicotine crack to all the people. But I think these companies are always 3 or 4 years advanced. And British American Tobacco, William Morris, they see the need for an alternative, healthy version of vape, and they certainly see that in the CBD sector. So that's why they've been asking me and asking me to assist them and asking questions, because they obviously will come out with a CBD vape alternative to nicotine, the healthy alternative. So that's coming. So I'm trying to, knowing that's coming, I'm went out and anticipated doing a raise. So I went out, I put a deck together with Mark and my man Richard, and we put a deck together to go out and raise some money to basically invest in a sales team and products and, you know, and displays, units and shit like that, to go out and hit the stores. You know, there's all them stores waiting for me to put my product in. But to do that, I don't, you know, you need a sales team that's focused and organized, and that costs money. So speculate to accumulate, round one, off we go.
Awesome, that's great. Sorry, go on, Dan. You think you've got a question?
Yeah, I was just looking at your website actually. So obviously, because it is still illegal in the UK, you have to only provide products with 0 THC. I know that a lot of people benefit from cannabis, from like treating stuff like depression, anxiety from the THC. What sort of like direct benefits is it that you just get from CBD? And like, have you seen a big difference where, say, like in America, where you can sort of get THC legally compared to where only CBD is allowed?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's I struggle because I worked in America, and, you know, I have people emailing me at 3 a.m. in pain who can't sleep because they've got fibromyalgia and migraines and things that I know that I can treat and cure you of in 30 seconds. But, you know, the couple of ways I've dealt with it is one of, you know, medical cannabis is legal in the UK. You can, with a certain doctors, which I have a doctor friend who's a cannabis doctor, you can get prescribed cannabis. It's extremely expensive. The consultation alone is 450 quid. Once you pass the consultation, it goes to a clinic. An ounce of weed is 400 quid. I could help you for 30. So it's you know, it's sort of sacrilegious. I mean, the CBD definitely works for some people, but you've got to look at CBD as a vitamin. So basically, we have systems in our body. We have endocannabinoids. Endocannabinoid system is the one that communicates with cannabinoids. So we have endocannabinoid system is a system made up of receptors, CB1 and CB2 receptors that are unlocked with cannabinoids. So it's a unique system that, you know, sort of crosses over the human body with cannabinoids, and cannabinoids react with the system. When we smoke THC reacts with these receptors and takes them over. So if you're smoking some bubble kush, and then bubble kush is suddenly taking over your body, dude, that's why you're slow, or you slur your body actions, because the messages from these receptors is what hits the brains. And basically what these receptors do, it's like an early warning system. When I talk to people, I say it's a fire alarm, and CBD is the batteries for the fire alarm. So when you've got a fire alarm and the batteries aren't working and the fire breaks out, it's a bad thing. There's going to be damage caused. This is the same with our endocannabinoid system. Our endocannabinoid system, when something happens to our body, a virus, a pain, some sort of infiltrates, there's a warning to our body. The endocannabinoid system reacts and tells the brain that there's a problem. The brain then initiates an immune response and sends the blood, you know, the red blood cells to the inflammatory area. And this is why CBD helps with inflammation. This is why CBD helps with sleep, because it makes that system quicker. So when you get a problem, faster you pick up that problem, the better it's going to be for your brain to initiate the immune response and fix that problem. That's speed and haste to a situation is always key. When you have the fire alarm, that's why I use the fire alarm analogy, because when you have the fire alarm, you put the batteries in the fire alarm. If the batteries are good, the fire alarm's going to go off, you're going to put the fire out. If the batteries are shit and the CBD of the batteries, the fire's going to cause damage and viruses and everything else. So it's CBD is a vitamin. Like vitamin C is for the immune system. CBD is for the endocannabinoid system. So very much so, it's that's how you need to look at it. As it's not an antagonist, so it doesn't bind to them receptors I was talking about. It nourishes them receptors rather than bind to them. THC binds to them. Terpenes bind to your receptors, so therefore it's causing a mental reaction to what it's taking rather than just a nourishment. So, you know, education is key, like in anything, and trying to explain to people how things work, and that's the best way I can explain how CBD works to people. And I certainly see a positive reaction in people that take CBD consistently as a vitamin, not just as a luxury whenever they want it. If they take it every day, it works. And it increases the reaction to your brain and helping your body. And if you don't take it seriously, it won't work, like anything. So if you take vitamin C for 2 days and not for the rest of the month, you know, it's not going to do too much. So yeah, that's how CBD works, and the benefits I've seen have been loads, and it's been encouraging. But you know, they have a little trick recently that you say that no THC is illegal. Well, it's not true. You're allowed to give people 0.2% THC, and for certain things, that's amazing. It can work. Migraines, headaches and migraines are a massive thing that I can treat successfully. You have to take a bit more because of the legal limit. You have to stack up on the dosage, but I can fix your migraine pretty much every time. Pretty confident about that. And then other certain ailments, sleep, fibromyalgia, polymyalgia, them sort of things, I've really had great success with. So, you know, I certainly take data collection seriously in this industry, because I think it's important to collect data on patients, on past experiences, on how people. I think that's a valuable asset of the business, to have a vast amount of data on patients that you can help, that helps you ultimately prescribe other patients ways forward. That's the only way I can do it, really, is from the experience I have with other people. So it's when you have that multiple times, then you sort of know it works. Migraines is one of them. Fibromyalgia is another. I'm very successful in helping out with, even with the minimum dose of THC, the legal dose of 0.2%. So I tell it to a lot of people now, my clients that come to me, I give them the option. I say, you know, I can give you a microdose of THC with your thing that's completely legal. And most 9 times out of 10, they want the THC, dude. That's what they want.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. And is that effect instant, isn't it? Like, let's say if somebody suffering from migraine, that's all you really need in order to cure it pretty much straight away, or do you need to take it for a few days?
Yeah, well, the experiences I've had with it, again, from experiences, mainly with a lot with my mum. My mum was a big guinea pig for me. And when I was in America, when we lived in America, I could treat her more with THC legally. And, you know, but my mum doesn't want to get stoned, you know, that she just wants the migraines gone. So, you know, we've got a nice formula for her. It's, you know, slightly stronger, maybe 0.3, 0.4%. She'll have 5 or 6 drops daily. But the problem with mum is that she'll forget to take the daily dose, because the daily dose will calm your receptors, will stop the interaction of cluster migraines and chaotic storms that happen in your immune system that will cause messages to get overrun, and that's usually how a migraine happens. And so THC definitely calms that down. I think CBD sort of, you know, mutes it a bit. Mum said that when she was just doing the CBD alone, it definitely stopped the frequency of the migraine, so many, and the intenseness of the migraine, but it didn't stop the migraine. And what Mum does sometimes is she will forget, and she'll feel the migraine coming on and go for a CBD THC mix, and it sort of works, but it's a little bit too late. You know, so I'd rather her not have that. I'd rather her take a couple of drops in the evening every night, on a consistent basis, and then, of course, then I don't think the migraines will happen, rather than trying to react when it happens and usually taking too much and getting a little bit stoned.
Brilliant. Miraj, before you go, you wanna say something? I know you need to go at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. So just before I shoot off, Jamie. So I've got a healthcare recruitment company. So I'm a pharmacist. So I look after pharmacies. If you would like, more than happy to speak to whoever looks after your marketing and stuff. We can put a blog or something together, get some
Amazing
communication out to some of our pharmacies, get a newsletter out to all of our workers.
Oh, dude, that's
so just let me know if you want to do that. My commercial director was one of the guys who was in Nicosig at the beginning.
Okay.
And obviously that company
sold.
And then it went to Vitality and they sold, right? So selling, yeah.
I want to sell.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe afterwards, if we'll just get an introduction through Rich and Mark, and
Perfect.
try and get something together for next month's newsletter if you want.
I would love that very much. Thank you very much.
It's a great idea, Miraj. Great
No
idea.
problem.
Now, another thing, while we all here, before we wrap up the show, Jamie, me and Miraj also host a YouTube show called Hustlers Hangout. This is something obviously we'd like to invite you if you're okay with it.
Let's go. I'm ready.
And join us. It's all hustlers hang out together, talk about entrepreneurship, journey, and stuff like that. It's up your street anyway. You would love it, I think.
I will bring the bitches.
Absolutely. Love it,
The
man.
hustlers and the bitches. The hustlers and the bitches, dude. Let's go.
Amazing. Look, hey, we have to do this for this, right? There you go. That's for you, Jamie.
Yeah, I love it. I was dancing and everything.
Absolutely. We'll have a virtual party there, Virtual over 18 party there.
I'll take it.
Brilliant.
Nice chat with you, Jamie.
Jamie, absolute pleasure having you. This
Legend.
this episode is going to be recorded and is going to be coming out in next few weeks in our podcast as well for Cube Consultancy. So definitely we'll share that with you. And thanks very much. It's an absolute pleasure to join our Cube show.
Thank you very much
Mark
for having
and
me.
Richard, absolutely my pleasure. Mark and Richard, anything you want to say before we actually wrap up?
Where is Richard even here?
Richard was here, yeah. Richard,
Who are you? Who are you? He's asleep. He's asleep.
Richard.
No,
Wakey, Richard. Come on,
There you go, come on. You have to be waking up after this.
Wake
listening
up.
No. I was just my one thing I was gonna say. You can see from my image there that's Tabasco and Kane on the right, and Tabasco was unable to get up. He was unable to jump into the boot of the car. 3 months on some of Woodies products, and he's now a 3-month-old puppy. Jumps everywhere.
He's probably jumping on everything.
Wow.
Come on.
And we can personally verify and vouch for at least 6 of Woodies products. Beautifully packaged, exceptional performance, and at not too bad a price.
Thank you, sir.
Brilliant.
Glowing
Guys,
endorsement.
all of us, I just went into your Instagram page, followed you. So please, guys, everybody, Dan, Miraj, follow Woodies on Instagram.
Enjoy.
And
Enjoy.
definitely,
It's a bit bad.
yeah, absolutely. And Jamie, can't wait to have you in our show as well. It
I'm
will
ready.
be interesting.
I'm ready. You will definitely be
that's
interested.
Absolutely.
Wait to get me on video.
I can't wait. That would be epic, mate. That would be epic. Okay, Jamie. So look, we'll just wrap up for the day. Absolute pleasure meeting you. Thanks everybody. Now we've got obviously a great panel with Richard and Mark. We will be back again next Wednesday with new topics to talk about. So for today, guys, have a beautiful evening and let's speak next week.
But how are we going to beat that?
I don't know. But